And I always feel as though it's necessary for me to say this, so I will. I never in my life will ever say that Europe is not a good opportunity for urban young adults. I'll never say that it's not a good opportunity for minority children. Whether you're black, whether you're Asian, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're white and you're just of a lower social hierarchy, I will never say that this program is not a beneficial move for you. But I will say that it depends on your location. It depends upon your advisory. That is the most essential component and the most detrimental component to your experience. If you don't have the right people guiding you, if you don't have the right people assisting you, you're bound to fail. And that's just honest. And that's why I share what I know from my experience and from my location, because my location at the time that I was a part of this program was absolutely trash. And that's just honest. So I'll never act like Europe is not a good program. It's a good program. It's not a great program, but it's a good program and it's beneficial. So if you want to pursue Europe, I support the advancement of urban young adults. I support it. Just be cautious. Europe's mission is to close the opportunity divide by ensuring that young adults gain the skills, experiences, and support that will empower them to reach their potentials through careers in higher education. Europe has 6 core values that guide all aspects of their work, and it follows as such: respect and value others, build trust, be honest, be accountable, engage and embrace diversity, strive to learn, work hard, and have fun. Let me stop. That was corny. But, those are the core values, and that is the mission of Europe. I share all this to say, essentially, Europe utilizes personal development as a means to improve one's professional performance and abilities. This concept is good in theory, but the process was absolutely invasive and proved to be ineffective. Europe is a limited capacity program with student quotas and various administrative goals. There are 2 learning communities, Blue Chip and Gold Standard. There are 2 program focuses, IT and business. Within each learning community, there is an expected 40 children per community, totaling to 80 children within the program. I was in Gold Standard and my program focus was business. Many of my administrative supervisors were individuals of superiority, furthermore being of a more mature stature, more traditional and quite superior in comparison to the Blue Chip. Blue Chip, they were fairly new, they were fairly young, and they were fairly inexperienced. A lot of my administrative staffing on Gold Standard or Gold Chip, whatever, a lot of my administrative staffing were women. So there was a lot of estrogen within our administrative structure in comparison to Blue Chip. There were some men that were a part of Gold Standard, or there was there was a couple of men a part of Gold Standard, but a lot of them were absentee figures, and one of them that was there most of the time was very passive, so he kind of was just very passive. So that was my experience, but I want to explain to you more thoroughly as to why I felt as though the personal access was invasive and, again, furthermore, ineffective. Within the introductory phase of consultations and or interviews, orientation, also known as Gear Up for Europe, and learning and development, which of course lasted for 6 months, there were various personal questions asked and activities done to reveal oneself to our staffing. Even within the interview process, there was tactics and questions used to gauge the necessity of the student, since this is a limited access program. During my interview, I came in and I can remember a series of questions directed towards my personal goals, both short-term and long-term, difficult experiences that I encountered in life that I had to overcome, my domestic and familial infrastructure, and various behavioral inquiries. There were just a lot of personal questions that were being requested of myself. And of course, it's important for an employer to know who they're hiring. And of course, given the limitations of this program, I didn't really question it, but it was definitely an alarming examination within this evaluation process. And it seemed to reveal itself more of a focus as I engaged in orientation and learning and development. When I was in orientation, we were given personality tests. We were given various personality tests. We were given the Carl Jung test. We were given the Myers-Briggs test. And, we participated within trust-based activities, collaborative activities that were meant to gauge our respectabilities and mannerisms and just groom us. Check for our etiquettes. There's just a lot of things done that was just a little too invasive, in my opinion. All in all, I just felt like this process was unnecessarily invasive and proved itself to be ineffective once I transitioned into internship. I saw the liabilities being sent to these corporations. I saw the turnovers, and it just proved to be ineffective. Everything that we did prior to internship within learning and development meant nothing on internship. Especially once I departed from this program and I entered my current program, I just realized how much more professional I became when I learned the trade as opposed to being learned myself, as opposed to being asked what my personality is, if I'm extroverted or introverted. When I learned the trade that I was studying and I abided by my program's requirements and prerequisites, that's when I noticed a change in my professionalism. I'm not going to act like I'm the most professional, I'm the most articulate, I'm the most this, that, and the third. I always feel like there's room to grow, there's room to perfect, there is room to advance. And a lot of that comes with enhancing your ignorance so that you can develop an understanding and awareness. But once I departed this program and once I went into internship, that's when I realized, okay, a lot of my doubts of this invasive process were confirmed. Now, I knew this girl named, or rather this woman, because she was definitely an elder of mine. She was 25, and at the time I was 18 going on 19. But yeah, Ty was like at least 25 going on 26, or she was 26 at the time. And she was a mother, she was a wife, she had her own household to take care of, her own child to take care of. Even during certain events that we would have within the program, like yoga or whatever, she would bring her child to the events. And she was a mother. And the only reason why she did this program was because she wanted to be a psychologist. She wanted to establish her own business. So she was working on the degree. She just needed to work on getting the resources. She already had enough experiences within her life to know how business works and how to carry herself in a professional environment. She was a client representative before. She did work in a call center before. She worked with student loans before, so she didn't need this program to teach her how to shake hands, to teach her how to do certain things. She already knew it. But we had this assignment that was called the 7-second resume, and this was essentially to serve as a personal mantra within a professional environment. Now, I think where things went left is when Ty decided to mention her experience with depression. And depression is absolutely natural, but you have to be careful when discussing that in a professional environment. And this is something that I'm sure she was aware of, but when you have blurred communication and given the prior engagement to introduce this activity, given the directions, I don't think it was as clear as it needed to be. And I think, again, because of the blurred lines of communication, professionalism was lost within personal grooming. So she mentioned her depression. A few other students mentioned their, domestic instabilities. They mentioned their issues with their parents or their grandparents. They mentioned the adversities that they faced that prompted them to pursue higher learning and career development. So although the intention was great, the purpose was not met, if that makes any sense. So it sucked to hear her receive the criticism that she received from some of our administrative staffing, because the other administrative staffing that prepared us for this assignment didn't really make that so clear, because they always focused on the personal aspects of us students. They always focused on us and not what we needed to do per se, or they didn't really focus on the trade itself. But yeah, Ty definitely suffered the repercussions of the blurred lines of professionalism and personal grooming. She mentioned her depression, and that's not something you should mention on an interview. So it was just interesting. If I can find a clip of my 7-second resume, I'll post it. But yeah. Hello, my name is Lamaya Austin McKnight, and I attend Florida State College at Jacksonville. I'm also a part of the program called Europe. And through my many trials and tribulations, I've learned that you must find a way when the path isn't clear and make a way when the path is not given. It was nice meeting you. Again, my name is Lamaya Austin McKnight. Have a beautiful